Okay, I'd like to call the Governance and Operations Committee of February the 8th to order. And just a reminder to everyone that the proceedings are being videotaped for future viewing. So on that note, we'll move on to the first item of the agenda, which are the 2021 capital budgets. You have before you a document prepared by David Parahudoff on options for council to proceed on what staff has deemed as critical projects to move forward. I'm not sure which one we want to start on other than, did you want to start, Trish, with your Parks and Recs and then move on to Chris? Is that okay?
I can do that. So I think the idea behind this was twofold. One was that if council did not want to approve the entire capital budget, that the idea was that staff were advancing the priority items so that work could commence on some of these. And I think I can speak for Chris and Robert as well, that these are all projects that timing kind of becomes of the essence to get them rolling so that they could be done within this fiscal year. So within Parks and Recreation, there's projects at the Trail Memorial Center. I think that's the first page you have that involve the library roof replacement. I'm just going to run through the topics and then maybe I'll open it up for conversation if that's okay, Councillor Centauri. So the library roof replacement, a project that we've called the Trail Memorial Center New Fitness and Leisure Room, structural repairs required within the building, as well as the Trail Memorial Center Energy Conservation Project. So maybe before I move on to the next sort of cost center, I'll open it up for conversation if anybody has any questions about any of those projects.
Any questions of council on those? Okay. Well, I do.
I'd like to.
Go ahead, Eleanor.
Trish, with the new fitness and leisure room in your report, your next report, you talked about windows, and where would they be?
So there's in the report that I spoke about for phase 1 in that project is we called them storefront windows. So if you can envision coming in the old doors to the library space, if you can envision that immediately to your left. So if you'd be looking out, if there was a window there, you'd be looking out over the lobby of the Trail Memorial Center. Does that make sense? So like you, if you walked in the main doors of the facility and looked up, remember that where that rock wall signature piece was?
Yeah.
That wall is into the library space. And so there's a storefront window that would be there. As well as they're trying to put a window kind of close to where the front doors to that room are to help daylight the space and make it a bit more inviting.
So that's not going to interfere with any of the display cabinets that are on there. Yes, no?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Carol, you had a question?
Yes, I did. So when we talk about new fitness, what exactly are you proposing, Tricia?
Well, it's more what the room could be used for. So right now, all of our fitness programs are in the red floor room, and it's very small, very crowded, and doesn't serve the ability to grow those services at all. The idea behind this is that it would ultimately become a multi-purpose space. We may use it and kind of make it into a fitnessy type environment, but it could be a multi-purpose space used for any number of things, not unlike all of our other spaces in the building.
Okay, so you weren't referring to putting equipment in there similar to what we've got at the fitness center. No, this would be like exercise groups, yoga and things like this?
Correct.
Yes. Okay, got it. Thank you.
And there's more detail, and I think it's on page 30 of the capital budget manual.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue, Trish.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Kashoni?
Robert, go ahead. Robert, you had a question?
You're muted, Councillor Kashoni.
You're muted, Robert.
I got it. On the 447, Trish, you got that we're applying for a grant under that section, right? But are you suggesting that we go ahead with it regardless of the grant or not?
Yes, that is the recommendation by the roof assessing people.
The roof there that leaks. Yep. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the items under the Trail Memorial Center?
Hmm.
Do we want to do these separate? Should we do these separately as motions, Michelle, in sections, or do the whole Parks and Rec at once?
I would suggest that you could deal with all of the Parks and Rec at once. They are all considered priority items.
Okay.
So if you did wish to pull any out after hearing further explanation from
Can do that
Tricia,
in
you
the-
can do
We can
so.
do that in the motion. Okay.
I'll move
So,
approval of all the
regional
priority
park-
items. I'll move approval of all the priority items in Parks and Rec.
Does anybody want Trish to go through them though first?
Well, if we're the seconder, she still can go through them.
Okay. Do we have a seconder? Robert has moved that they will be approved.
I'll
Second.
second it.
Seconded by Paul Butler. Any questions or discussion on any of the items that have been listed?
I have a question, Sandy.
Go ahead, Colleen.
Trish, can you just go over the Butler Park tennis and pickleball court rebuild again for me, please? I know we've
Yeah.
talked about that in the past, but can you just go over that again?
Yeah, for sure, no problem. So that is the 3 tennis courts that are adjacent to the Butler Park Ball Field and the Trail Aquatic and Leisure Center. So we did the first phase of construction back in the fall. I think it was late October that we did that. So the courts were totally ripped up and sort of left to where they could now be put back together. So that project would commence as soon as weather would permit and would continue through until probably mid-June would be when it would be completed. So that project is underway, Councillor Jones, and but we knew that we weren't going to complete it in 2020.
Robert?
And I just have a question. Trish, you know, we know we've got a leak in the spray park. I didn't see it anywhere in any of these listings. Is it just going to be done as part of Public Works to find that leak and fix that leak for the spray park?
I'll let Chris comment on that, or maybe he can correct me if I'm incorrect, but I believe they were going to do that as part of operating,
Okay.
but which is why you're not seeing it in capital.
That's why it's not there. Good, thank you.
Is that correct, Chris?
Yes, so we already found the leak and have addressed the leak that was there. Now we're proposing to do a bit of an upgrade to deter future leaks. So, but that will be done under operations.
That's great. Thank you.
Thanks. And I just wanted to comment that the Butler Park light pole removal, it came in at 83,000, the bid, Chris? And Hilltech was awarded the job.
That's correct.
Thank you. Okay, does anybody else have any questions on any of the items that Robert moved to be approved for Parks and Rec? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Motion's carried, Tricia.
Thank you.
Okay, you're up, Chris.
Okay, well, I will start with speaking to the RCMP capital projects which are listed. So the HVAC system replacement and the office space carpet. So the HVAC system replacement, we have to replace all 5 of the furnaces and rooftop units at the RCMP. They are original to the structure and they are failing rapidly. And we spent tens of thousands of dollars repairing these units over the years. And they're at a point in their life where they can't be repaired effectively further. So we'd like to advance that. Of course, this is quite a major project for that facility. There's also some ventilation system upgrades which need to be completed at the same time. So we're hoping to have that in place for the summer cooling system so those rooftop units don't run 24/7 like they do now. The office space carpet, we purchased the carpet in 2019. There were some delays in getting contractor clearances for the RCMP. And then of course, 2020 COVID hit and the carpet installers were literally shut down for a period of 8 months. So we are a little behind on getting that one done. So that was a carry forward project from 2019. I'll keep going then with any questions, I guess, on the RCMP items?
No.
Nope. Okay,
Councillor Santori? I have a
Sorry?
question.
Go ahead, Carol.
Yes, okay. Chris, just under the system replacement, is there going to be an RFP on that, or have we already done that?
No, there will be an RFP.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, on to warehouse. Public Works salt sand shed structure replacements. So that's to buy 2 covers. We currently have a structure over the salt bin, but we don't have one over the pre-mix sand salt. And the structure over the salt bin is 20 years old and it's failing and we can't replace it, or we can't even repair it. So we can't do any patches to that material any further. So we'd like to get 2 structures in place because we are losing a lot of salt due to moisture getting into the pre-mix sand salt pile. Public Works repairs and upgrades, that's just to do some work necessary around the compound. And we're just trying to get that one approved earlier so we have a better chance of securing contractors. Seems that once they get busy with bigger projects, they don't want to spend time working on these smaller projects. So machinery and equipment, the Vactor Unit 931, our existing Vactor was up for replacement a number of years ago. We've advanced it multiple times for approval. However, operational needs took precedence and it's been pushed back. It's been a good unit. However, in the last number of weeks, we've been experiencing some transmission issues with that unit. So we were hoping to replace it this year so we don't have to invest heavily into it to keep it running. The loader
How
plow.
old is that unit, Chris?
Unit 931, I believe it's, let me have a quick look here. Just one second.
Sandy, I have a question as well for Chris when you're ready, when he has his reply.
Well, I don't have the age of the unit readily available, but I can find out in a matter of moments once I'm done speaking here. So
Okay, thank you.
I'll report back to you.
Lisa?
Chris, I just noticed when we're looking at the funding source, this is done through debt. So can you just talk a little bit about that? Because it's kind of unusual for us. Don't we usually just purchase our vehicles flat out? But I'm understanding that this is a bigger purchase. So what is the mechanism surrounding that, if you know?
I do not know. I'd have to
Okay.
look up some past correspondence on that.
Okay, it's fine. Thank you.
Councillor Santori, can I add that the staff who are gathered here today wouldn't be prepared to speak to funding sources. That's a role of the Chief Financial Officer. So in his absence, if there are specific questions, we can notate them and bring information back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that, Chris.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay, continue, Chris.
Next item is the loader plow blade. So we had purchased one in the fall of 2020. We put it into service throughout this winter season already, and it's turned out to be a very practical piece of equipment for us. And in discussions with the vendor, he has one in stock and he's willing to hold last year's prices for us if we can garner approval to move forward with that purchase earlier than at the end of this month. Otherwise, the prices will go up to current pricing and it'll probably be a 20% increase on that unit.
Any questions regarding machinery and equipment?
Nope.
Okay, roads.
Okay, roads, the Sunnydale Y pedestrian improvements. That is a safety concern which is been brought forward a couple of times by some members of council. We've reviewed it with the ICBC safety consultant that we are in contact with, and he's provided a preliminary design, which is looks very good to us. So we're hoping to move forward with that early in the year so we can have the infrastructure in place for when the line painters are in town in early May. So hopefully that can go through. That'll put a nice crosswalk and pedestrian island at the Sunnydale Y. And it really, a cursory review of the design, it really clarifies that intersection for both pedestrians and motorists. So something that's needed there.
I always put my turn signal on when I'm turning left to go home because you wouldn't believe how many cars come right down hillside. And because it's straight, they think they have the right of way. because they don't look or they don't see the stop sign on the right. I don't know about you, Colleen, but I've had quite a few close calls there going home. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this, and thank you for putting this forward, Chris, because you know what, not only is it going to be a safety for everybody that's walking now, like this weekend, hundreds of people walking, right? But it's actually going to slow down traffic a bit, I think, and we really need that in Sunnydale because it's like a freeway around here lately. It's been really bad.
That's why I have a baseball bat in my garage.
Yeah, the design of that intersection will really clarify things for drivers. It'll force them to come to a stop at the end of Hillside.
Yeah,
So yeah, it'll be nice.
that'll be great. Yeah.
Mhm.
How will it be for the plowing though, the snow plowing and stuff like that? It shouldn't affect that at all.
No, we plow around pedestrian islands like that throughout the city, so it'll be very easy to maintain, and it'll provide a safe haven for pedestrians as well because it provides a little concrete safety.
Yeah.
Like concrete
Awesome.
Yeah, so it'll be good.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? And
Um, City lane rebuilds, that pretty much speaks to itself. We do lane rebuilding every spring after the heavy rains. The alleys are always potholes, so we like to get in there and get those cleaned up for the summer and into the fall.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll carry on to already.
Yeah, if there's no questions, just keep going, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah.
The civic improvements, Rotary Park gazebo, that's a carry forward project from 2020, and work is underway on that structure right now.
Councillor Santori.
Go ahead, Carol.
Chris, was there any input on finances from Rotary on that?
Yes,
Okay.
and the contractor wants to volunteer his time.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah, so we did have a discussion with Rotary. Unfortunately, there was not a lot of funding available, but the contractor is involved with the Rotary, so there'll be a donation in kind for his labor.
Thank you.
Awesome.
The Green Avenue Hill storm sewer is a component of the Green Avenue Hill storm water sanitary improvement project. As we're all aware, that road is shut down right now, compliments of a water break we had in the early winter, and we're hoping to advance that to get that project underway. It'll be a big one, so we're working on engineering right now, and then we'll be going out to tender in the near future. It's going to be an extremely large project, so we're hoping to be first on the block to have a tender of that size out.
Any questions?
No.
I've got one, Chris.
Yes.
Does the sidewalk get any improvements on, as a result of this job or no?
We will be going curb to curb with the asphalt and only improving the sidewalk if it has been undermined in areas.
So the asphalt stays on the sidewalk then?
If there's any asphalt to sidewalk, we'll remove that and replace it with concrete.
Okay. All right, move right along to drainage. No, water fund.
Councillor Santori,
Yes, sorry.
are you fine with me motioning for approval for all the transportation services budget?
Yep.
Yep,
Second, Robert.
Robert. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Sandy, there's one section that's got general government at the top. I think. we
Yeah, I
have-
was going to bring that up after Chris was done, Robert. I just
Okay.
noticed it too. Thanks.
Thank you.
And Councillor Santori, perhaps before moving along to water fund,
Yes.
you'd want to entertain a motion with respect to the RCMP projects. If you're going to consider the public works separately.
Okay, so could we have a motion to proceed with the HVAC and office space carpet for the RCMP building?
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Lisa, seconded by Paul Butler. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And now moving on to water fund and sewer fund.
Water Fund Green Avenue Hill is the Synergy project, which is tied to the drainage and sanitary sewer. Milligan Ave to Glover Road water main. There is a 2-inch water main right now on that, under that section property, which needs to be upgraded to a 4 or 6-inch water main. So it's expensive because of the proximity to a staircase. It's the existing water main is right underneath the city staircase. So it's going to be costly to work in that area with either replacing the staircase or not damaging the staircase and putting something new in beside it. So it's a complicated area to work in. Water treatment plant valve and actuator upgrades. These components are a long delivery time, so we're hoping to get them ordered now, and we'll be installing those in the fall if they arrive in time.
Okay, so could we have a motion to approve the expenditures under the water, capital projects under Water Fund?
So moved, Robert.
Robert, and seconded by Lisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion is carried. And lastly, is the sewer fund, or not lastly, we have one more after the sewer fund. Go ahead.
Okay, Green Avenue Hill again is the Synergy project. Robertson Street and Sunnydale lift stations are all pump replacement projects. The pumps were ordered in early 2020. Due to COVID delays, we just received those pumps in December, so we're into the installation project now. So they're carryovers from 2020.
Okay, any questions regarding expended capital under sewer? Lisa?
I'm happy to make the motion to accept the sewer fund, and then I'd like to have a question to Mr. McIsaac regarding water and sewer once this one is passed.
Okay, we have seconded by Robert. Did you want to ask the question now?
No, because it's a little bit separate, so I'm
Okay.
fine with it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Lisa?
Chris, I just have a quick question for you that's a little bit outside of these main capital priority projects that we're just approving today. So typically every year, do we not undergo that process whereby we line either water or sewer pipes to lengthen their lifetime rather than replacement? And I believe in the past MarTech has got that contract, and we do a little bit each year, and I just don't see it on this year's budget. And is it because we're so tight with the main breaks that we've had this year that wasn't included? But I might just be missing it, so I wasn't sure if it was included or not.
We typically do attempt to do some sewer pipe lining, not water main lining. It's just sewer pipes. We, on an annual basis, we will do video inspections 1 year and then put together a lining project the next year. So it's kind of a 2-year cycle. And this year we put forward a sewer collection rehabilitation capital project, which is item 2. It's in, which one is it here? On page 174. So we found out in the last 3 cycles that we have so many major repairs to do to the sewer systems before they can be lined that we're going to do a bunch of capital work this year to repair those. And then next year we will be doing a lining project.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Any other questions?
Councillor Santori?
Go ahead, Carol.
I just have 2 small questions here. When we did the signage change at the corner of 3rd Avenue and Robertson, we put a sign up warning the public that there were changes forthcoming and to please pay extra attention, I guess. I think that signage stayed up for about 6 to 8 months. Do you remember?
Right below Challenger Automotive Hill there.
Yeah, right on that corner as you go down Robertson.
Yes.
I was just wondering, would you recommend whether or not we should do the same thing when we make the changes to the Sunnydale Y?
Oh yes, it'll be part of the project. We'll have to have advance notification. Yeah,
Okay.
everything's changed, and that'll be for a while.
I just had one other quick question on the snow budget. How are we looking this year? Good?
Well, we were high for December, but we're going to be low for January and February. So I think we're kind of right in the middle of where we should be, let's say. We didn't make any gains because December was a heavy snow month.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
If we could just bounce back to general government, there was 3 capital program projects. One was the backup system replacement in info systems. That's a carry forward projects, a printer replacement, as well as enhancements to our existing website. So the total would be, what is it? $83,000, 3 projects.
Robert,
Moved by Robert, seconded by Lisa. Any questions on those 3 projects?
no.
Not hearing any. All those in favor of the motion?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Wow, okay. Okay, so we've done all the capital. Now we move on to the rest of the agenda, which is item 1.1. And no, sorry, Parks and Rec Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. It's a 100% grant program. Do you want to take this, Tricia?
Yes, I sure can. So yes, this was a grant opportunity, and these are tongue twisters, so bear with me. This one is called the Canada Infrastructure Program, COVID-19 Resilience Infrastructure Stream. And the project that we wanted to put forward was what we called the Trail Memorial Center Old Library Retrofit Program. So this was meant to encompass the roof project and a variety of the renos that you just looked at in the library space in order to make it suitable for public occupancy. So this grant came out in December. There was a bit of confusion in it because it looked like the application that the city applied for the Cambridge Dam decommissioning project may have been in direct competition with it. And of course, as the municipality, we're careful not to confuse those matters and make sure our highest priority items go forward. And upon review with one of the grant administrators, we found out that because the decommissioning project went through the stream called, the acronym was ARDM. I'm sorry, I can't remember what it was, the full name of it, but it was through the Emergency Management BC stream. So we were able to actually apply for a second project. So this application went in, we did at the time, what we wanted to do is make sure we met the deadline and not lose an opportunity for 100% funding on a project. So the project that you just approved through capital is in large part exactly what we just put through for this grant. The only addition that we added into the grant was for flooring that we were going to do in phase 2 of the project in 2022, but we added that in because we had some financial information to submit. So not unlike the grant that you saw for the decommissioning of the dam project, this grant has a very tight timeline. You had to have started the project before September of this year and had to have completed it before December of this year. And so we submitted the grant on time. And today the ask is that we have a formal council resolution that we can add to our grant application in support of this project.
And that's for $673,000?
Yes, $672,060 to be exact, but yes, very close.
Can't say no to 100% if we get it. Moved by Robert, seconded by Colleen.
I'll second it.
Colleen, all those in favor? Motion is.
Aye.
And the next is awarding the contract for the energy conservation project in the Trail Memorial Center in the amount of $75,000. What are council's wishes?
So moved.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Robert?
Yeah.
Seconded by
Straightforward.
Paul. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can't lose on that one.
No. Next is the School District 20 Scholarship Program for 2021. And the recommendation is the 2 scholarships at $650 each.
So moved.
Moved by Colleen, seconded by Eleanor. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. And that concludes the agenda for Government Operations Committee. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Trish.
Thank you.
talk to everybody else at 6 o'clock for the public hearing.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
I need a motion to adjourn. Whoa,
So moved.
Lisa, okay. Meeting's adjourned. See you at 6.